This is WCCO Radio. Welcome back to the program. Again, Body of War, it's airing in town right now. As we just mentioned, we'll give you more of the results, and you can go to our website at WCCOradio.com if you missed that information as well. Phil Donahue stays with me, the co-director and executive producer. Phil, I didn't expect you to follow this story as long as you did, because I wanted to say that it gets better, but it gets worse too, you know?
Well, right. I mean, this is the harm in harm's way. So this gets us out from under the euphemisms. The harm in harm's way is devastating. And by the way, we're going to have more and more kids come home with head problems. And the problem of PTSD rises significantly when you send someone back there for the third and fourth time. These are the people who are going to get into alcohol. Not all of them, but, an alarmingly large percentage of them will. And some of them will beat up their girlfriends. The legacy of this war is going to rattle around this nation for the rest of this century. And while it all was going down, the American people stood largely mute. While our Constitution has been dismantled, chipped away, bedrock principles, people in a cage for 5 years, no habeas, no nothing, going through our emails. This is not the country that my parents raised me to pledge my allegiance to. And we have to return to the vision of the framers. The one thing, Jack, we've learned throughout this 3-year odyssey, the framers were right. Only Congress can declare war. The framers were right. You have to have free speech. You have to speak out. Even when a president is deciding to go to war, if you disagree, say so. Don't let the people intimidate you, because many of them will tell you to shut up and sing. At a time when we need free speech the most, we're told to be quiet.
So how do we reach beyond the headlines? I mean, the administration has been very, very successful, as many of them are. This one in particular, though, has been very successful at using the bumper sticker, the soundbite, and the American flag wrapped and draped around just about everything. And if you question any of it, well, you're not just unpatriotic, you're something far, far worse.
And remember this, Jack. In October 2002, that would be, 4 months before the invasion, every major metropolitan newspaper in this country supported this war. Every one. We had generals, as we learned from the New York Times a couple weeks ago. The generals who are the military experts, for Fox and CNN and all the cable shows, were getting their talking points from Rumsfeld.
They even mentioned this. The quote was, "We drank the Kool-Aid."
Yeah. So you had generals with all their military bearing and expertise and image and power telling us how the war was going, giving us Rumsfeld's talking points. You had every major metropolitan newspaper supporting this war, all the shout shows supporting this war. To stand up and say no in October 2002 was a tremendous act of moral courage, and we should be building statues to all of these people, and we should know who they are and make sure they get reelected. This does not have to happen. If the American people step up, speak out, use these rights that have been won for us by thousands of young men and women who went to past wars to protect us, to preserve this way of life. If we're not going to speak out, then stop wasting their blood. We'll get a Mussolini, and you can have whatever kind of country you want. He'll decide what's good for us, and we don't have to speak out about anything. It's up to you.
You mentioned the media and what the media has done on this. I recall a short time that you spent at MSNBC, and I remember watching you, thinking to myself, how much do they actually let this guy talk? And dare I go down that path for a second, but I am trying to understand. There is a role of the media, and the more it's corporately owned, and I work for CBS myself, so I appreciate the question I'm asking, but how difficult is it for the media to really cover anything with any value?
Well, first of all, being against the war was not good for business. That's important to know. In October 2002, if you were against the war, you were just pilloried. And if you were a member of the board of one of the major media conglomerates, you didn't want to have some gray-haired talk show host criticizing our president at a time when he's going to war. What's he think he's doing? There are millions of Americans who believe if a president calls a war, you got to salute. They believe this in their heart. Don't criticize a president while he's going to war. You'll embarrass him in front of the world. What kind of message does that send? We have to stand as one. United we are together. And if you say, wait a minute, excuse me, Iraq didn't have anything to do with 9/11, shut up and sing. It was amazing how well they muted the population. And major corporate media helped them. They just did. They did not want to be called liberal. That's the worst thing you can call a media company. They're literally terrified of the word. And for all these reasons, at least half of the dialogue of the voice, the political voice of this country has been silenced.